So after seeing this last night,
You have the morals of an alley cat.
Give me a minute, sir.
I didn't have sex with a porn star.
it got me thinking. Remember that one time Kenjaku met the President of the United States? You know, with July 4th coming up and this wonderful debate we had last night, I'm feeling really patriotic. So in today's video, I want to go over when Kenjaku visited the White House. The United States subplot in JJK was just kind of absurd, and I don't really know how to feel about it, but this is the start of it here. In February of 2018, so about 2 months after Geto had originally died, Kenjaku and Urame somehow set up a meeting with the United States President and other top government officials. In this meeting, Kenjaku describes cursed energy and sorcerers to the group. He says that this phenomena is exclusive to the Japanese, of course with some exceptions. Urame hands these high-ranking officials glasses imbued with cursed energy so that they can see and perceive curses. The president is understandably freaked out and doesn't want anything to do with these curses. However, this is the USA, and one mention of energy or oil, and our interest is absolutely piqued. And this is where the character Cyrus Vale comes in. He is the U.S. Department of Energy Assistant Secretary of Energy. He thinks that cursed energy is an absolute gold mine. This was like finding more oil in the Persian Gulf. We're on our way. We're locked in. This is the USA. Kenjaku then uses Mekamaru's recordings that he has and shows the room footage of Gojo, Sukuna, Nanami, and Todo. Cyrus is still obsessed with the prospect of cursed energy being a perfect energy source. He thinks it'll be the cleanest energy source and replace coal, nuclear, all sorts of different types of energy. He even points out that Gojo could probably power an entire country by himself. I just like to imagine Gojo like running on a treadmill or something. Kenjaku explains how in November a ritual for Jujutsu sorcerers will begin, aka the Culling Games. The president then becomes enraged at Kenjaku's prospects to use Japanese citizens as experiments for this new energy source. Cyrus begins to explain how getting ahead of other countries to gather this energy source is essential. Countries like Russia and China will certainly be interested in gathering this cursed energy. The president then frames this initiative about saving the Japanese people and keeping a monopoly on the secret of cursed energy. Kenjaku agrees with this statement, of course he does, and the president comes around to the proposal, guising it as protecting Japanese American citizens. The president then asks Lieutenant Gary K. Johnson. Side note, what a name, Gary Johnson, just classic American name right here. So he asks him how many soldiers he will need for this plan. Johnson is concerned about Gojo, however Kenjaku assures him that he will be sealed away in November. Knowing this, Johnson says a single company should be sufficient. He plans to capture 60 sorcerers as test subjects for the cursed energy. Then Bro really says, they are no match for muscle and bullets. Kenjaku, of course, laughs at this and admits he will need a full battalion of around 800 people. So at this point, Gary is kind of just laughing at Kenjaku, making fun of him, thinking that sorcerers are not that powerful and strong, and that his army and his soldiers are the strongest people on the planet. So at this point, they have devised a test for Kenjaku to see how strong he really is. So at this point, it's stated that the White House is being protected by 45 of the most elite soldiers from various branches of the military and even some from the CIA. They plan a test where Kenjaku has to make it from the west wing of the White House over to the east. Johnson mocks the Japanese, telling them to stick to cards and anime, while the permission to open fire within the White House was given. And whose idea was this? So the president and his cabinet members had just met this mysterious sorcerer with stitches on his foreheads who was showing them curses and whatnot, and they thought it was a great idea to test him inside of the White House, give him free range to walk around. I just think this is crazy. Of course, this is a story. It's not real, but this part is just, it's so dumb, but it's so fun at the same time. So using Geto's cursed spirit manipulation, Kenjaku walks through the White House, just absolutely trouncing over all the soldiers in there. He uses this giant kind of elephant type curse to lift them all up off the ground and throw them back down. Kenjaku then just piles all the dog tags up in front of the president. This is so disrespectful. Kenjaku and Urame then walk straight up to the president and they say, let's wrap this meeting up, showing Kenjaku as the fair winner. I think that Kenjaku's visit to the White House really shows how much of a genius he really is. This is before the Shibuya incident and before Gojo got sealed, and he knew that this was going to happen successfully, and he knew the Culling Games were going to kick off. And the reason he went here is to try to provoke the United States to send a bunch of troops over into Japan during the Culling Games so all the curses could kill them and feed off of that energy. And this was all in hopes to activate the merger, which kind of gives me hope still that the merger might happen. Because at the end of the day, it was really weird to just introduce the United States and the US Army into the Culling Games, which is a whole separate subplot that I think could be covered in another video, so let me know if you want to hear about that. But it would be weird to introduce all this without any payoff, which the payoff in this case would be the merger, and Kenjaku has shown time and time again that his plans come to fruition, so I think that this is an important chapter at the end of the day. So that was the time Kenjaku visited the White House. I figured this was a perfect time to cover this topic. You know, I watched the debate last night. Not the whole thing, but, you know, it was awful, as we all expected. And 4th of July is coming up next week. So if you're from the U.S. and celebrating, I hope you have a great week and weekend. And if you're not from the U.S., I hope you just enjoy your week. You know, weather's nice. It's summertime. So, yeah, go enjoy yourselves. And thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll catch you in the next video. Hopefully we get chapter 263 next week. And I'll see you then. Bye.